Until
good to
Omar
see you,
and the other
brother.
strikers,
Let this guy out here to sit up.
demands are met. The
You're
demands are really
together,
simple.
brother,
It's just
so
to convert, to stop using the toxic pesticides near schools and homes, to turn this into organic. And it's not a very Driscoll has the capacity for that. They have done organic before. They just don't see the need because they don't prioritize the people of Watsonville, which is where we're headquartered. So this is a way of getting everyone to make a simple pledge: don't buy Driscolls, don't be complicit in giving kids cancer. And I think it's a really simple message that people can get behind, people can sign that pledge. Whether you're in Watsonville or you're, somewhere else across the world where the strawberries that are grown here, that you're not going to be supporting.
Nice to see you, man.
You want to see Driscolls actually take care of the people in the way that
And what's your connection? Like, do you live in Watsonville, or you work at USD, or?
Like I'm part of the district.
They were all standing at the door of the world.
Oh, you said that.
Yes,
They're
but
checking it
as
out.
someone who's deeply involved in working with students and in the schools, we spent 2 years in studies, which at its heart is about empowering people, and this is just one way that people of Watsonville have been empowering themselves during this hunger strike, the cannery strike years ago, and so it's all connected. And I think this is a classic example of environmental racism, where all these toxic chemicals are being used in the places where the most disenfranchised people. Here is the Latino Filipino farm workers.
Yeah, I think everybody there was confusion between 4 and
the ones
4:30. So
who work in the fields, whose kids have been affected.
Plus, there were a lot of traffic jam.
my parents work in the fields, and I'm concerned. That's a lot of what they were asking. So they asked what they could do. So we said, the voice of the youth is a very strong voice. They have a lot of power behind them, and we urge them to write letters and to organize. They even suggested standing at the front of the placita, and protesting fifth graders. So it's beautiful to hear them say that.
And then, what's your next?
So I'm going to Cabrillo College. On Friday I'll be there. I have some dates set up at Watsonville High School, Pajaro Valley High School, some at Salinas. I've got a lot of radio shows that I'm going to be doing. I did an interview with Casewit yesterday. So I'll be active, spreading the word.
Have you reached out to Driscoll for
We have
conversation?
Yes, we've sat down with them about 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there in the meeting, but Corps representatives were there, and they basically said they're changing. They didn't really say anything that makes us believe that they're going to make change, but they said that they're going to work on it. Nothing concrete.
You were just telling me about that you spoke to some kids at McQuitty, and what was their main concern when you talked to them?
So we spoke to the kids at McQuitty School. They were excited to see us there to get educated, but I was surprised to see that they already knew about pesticides. And the number one question that came up with them was that they were concerned about their parents who work in the fields. What was going to happen to their parents? Are my parents going to be okay? What can we do to make change? So we talked about how they could write letters to their school board, write letters to the city council, write letters to Driscoll's, write letters to Giant, who is also a grower that uses pesticides. It was a fun group to talk to because they're willing to listen and willing to do things, which surprised me at that young age.
You haven't eaten anything yesterday or today. What was the last thing you ate, I guess, on Sunday?
So I switched over to nothing but fruits and vegetables, and I cut out all sugars. But I did go by my mom's house 2 days before, and she fed me some spaghetti with some vegetables, and that was the last meal that I had.
Was it home cooked?
It was home cooked. My mom, mom's cooking is always the best. Then I went to a sweat lodge, some self-care. After that, I went to do an interview at the radio station, and after that, came home and got some rest. Day one was easy. Day two was easy. We'll see how it goes. But I'm feeling strong. I got a lot of community supporting, a lot of youth that are behind me, and I wouldn't be able to do this without the love of my community. And it's not only me that are doing this. We have other people here that are going to fast with us. So this is a community coming together to make a change.
What are we doing here today?
So today we're having a press release to present our demands to Driscoll's. Enough is enough. Not only Driscoll's, but also a Giant. Giant also uses pesticides. So we're here to bring our demands and ask that they stop the use of pesticides. Stop harming our community. Stop harming our children. Stop harming our indigenous community. Stop harming our elders and our youth. Picture of Mother Earth crying, and our children from the schools coughing and just being harmed by the pesticides. And at the top it says Driscoll and Giant, no mas. At the bottom, stop spraying pesticides, and now all the names of the schools in our district. All the schools that are being affected by the harms of pesticides.
And how long has this been going on in terms of pesticide usage in near these schools right here?
For too long. It's been going on for too long. We have a map right here of Jacob's Heart, which shows how many children in our area are suffering from cancer and pesticides causing illnesses. And you'd be alarmed if you see, I'll show you that map in a little bit, but you'd be alarmed how many pins are in our area from Santa Cruz to Monterey County. There's a cluster of pins compared to the rest of the state. Our area has been affected by pesticides way too long, and millions of pounds have been dropped in our area.
And have since you started, announcing that you're going to be fasting, have parents reached out to you about this cause at all, and what have they been saying about that?
So I cannot tell you, in my community, when I do talk about this, it never fails. Parents or children come up to me and tell me, my dad died to pesticides, my grandfather died to pesticides, my son, my daughter has cancer because of pesticides, and we cannot prove it. We can't prove the harm. And I hear it everywhere I go, and it's only in our area that I hear that. Watsonville, Pajaro Valley, and Monterey County. I go everywhere else, nobody talks about it, but in our area it's discussed about too much. Cancer. But I suffer from respiratory problems because I grew up around fields my whole life. I used to live in the middle of the field. I remember younger going out to play and not seeing, they have these little signs at the corner of the field, like this big, that said pesticides were just sprayed. And instead of putting out these big old warnings, so I grew up and I've been affected respiratory ways.
Yeah, but
Why a hunger strike? What made you think of a hunger strike? Because you're very active in other ways, but why this hunger strike in this moment?
So I'm an educator, in the Pajaro Valley. I'm a mentor, and working with all these students and young people all the way from the schools to the streets, I see students that are affected by the pesticides, and I'm very passionate about my community and the youth, and I just knew that we have to do something, and this is something that I've always thought about growing up, following the Cesar Chavez movement, following Dolores Huerta, and when I heard Dolores Huerta talk about how pesticides were the same chemicals used in the war, that really hit me hard. When she's talked about how every other country in the world does not use these harmful pesticides, but we use them here in the United States, that was alarming to me. So I knew, being an activist, a Chicano activist, always been in the movimiento, I knew I had to do something. So this is a form of me protesting and speaking up for my community. And I'm not the only one that's doing this. I wouldn't be able to do this without my community.
And for students who don't know what a hunger strike is, what does that entail for you?
So a hunger strike is, I chose to do a hunger strike for 30 days. What does that entail? That means that I will be surviving on just water for the next 30 days, maybe a little bit of coconut water along with some bone broth. But this is a statement that I'm making against Driscoll's, against Giant, against pesticides. It's also a spiritual walk for me to grow and to spread the message to the young people that you can make a change. You could do big things in life. Don't let anybody talk to you about you can't do this and that. I have a saying, when somebody tells me you can't do it, I'll show you how I can, you know? So this is a message to the youth, que sí se puede, and don't ever give up. Stand up for what you believe in and move forward.
Sure, Adam, A-D-A-M, Scow, S-T-O-W. Well, what's going on here is local activists are coming together from all over Watsonville and Santa Cruz County. They're actually putting their bodies on the line by going on a fast, a strike. Omar Dieguez from Watsonville for 30 days in support of the movement to stop toxic pesticides around Watsonville neighborhoods and schools in support of organic agriculture. Our region is actually a leader in organic agriculture. Nearly 20% of the Pajaro Valley is already organic, so we need more of it in the right places. And those sensitive places are the fields right next to our schools and neighborhoods.
Has Driscoll's contacted you, or have you been in contact with Driscoll?
There's been some communication, and I believe they're taking these requests seriously. They're a big company, they're worth billions of dollars, so we know they have the resources and capabilities to make this change swiftly. And so I believe our leaders are thinking about it, and it's important that they know more and more people care, are affected, and want to see this change.
Looking at the map, I see that the areas most affected are your schools and neighborhoods. What kind of effect are we seeing?
Well, the Pajaro Valley Unified School District here has one of the highest rates of children with special ed and learning disabilities in the state. It's up to nearly 20%. The statewide average is 10%. This county has one of the highest rates of childhood cancer in the state. We know these chemicals cause cancer. They're carcinogens. Some of them cause learning disabilities. Studies from UC Berkeley, UCLA show that. And so we know they're out, they're being used in the area, and we know sometimes they drift depending on whatever direction the wind is blowing. And so it's only common sense that we reduce these chemicals and we start in places closest to where our kids go to school and where we go to sleep at night.
Has there been any communication to Watsonville City Council?
Watsonville City Council supports us. They actually passed a resolution a year or so ago in support of 1 mile buffer around the city going organic. And I can send you that resolution if you'd like it. So that's more and more people agree that this is just common sense. When you have toxic chemicals, we want to keep them away from people, and especially especially our kids. It's amazing that Omar is going on a hunger strike for up to 30 days with just fluids. And we learn as kids and as adults how long we can last without food, how long we can last without water, but we can't last very long without air. And that's the problem. The pollution is in the air. The pesticides get into our lungs and into our bodies, into our bloodstream, into our brain. We don't have a choice as to whether to breathe. So that's why the point, the impact of this is so important. We have to get the toxic pesticides out of the air we breathe. What's relevant at this moment is that more and more people are getting involved than ever before in our region, Watsonville, Pajaro Valley, Santa Cruz County. In order for this to succeed, being that the fields around our neighborhoods and our schools convert to organic, we need more and more people to show up and really show that they care. It's not enough just to be on social media. When people show up like they did today, when they showed up like they did for Dolores Huerta, when they showed up like they did at Barrios Unidos last Sunday, it shows that people are really willing to give their time and their energy. Because the pesticides, they're at an all-time high. The state is complicit with pesticides. In fact, they're even trying to increase the limit of one of the nastiest pesticides that causes cancer. So unfortunately, our state leaders have the wrong priority here. So we are here calling on the companies, Driscoll's and also Cal Giant is a big berry grower as well, that they do the right thing and lead by example and convert these fields to organic.
Do you have examples of success in which farmers have converted their fields?
Well, absolutely. There's a field next to Ohlone Elementary School that has gone organic. There's a field behind the Mesty Elementary School right here. Which is an organic Driscoll's field rotated with Lakeside Organics. So we're an organic capital here in Santa Cruz County. Indeed, Santa Cruz County is one of the places most credited for developing the organic standard as a legal standard. Where about 20% of our farmland is organic. So we have a good amount of organic. We need more, and especially in the most sensitive places where our kids, our seniors, everyday people, everybody is at risk. Everybody who breathes air. It's amazing, Omar and 7, 10 other people here are going to put their health on the line by not eating, as we learn.
Stop spraying venom, stop poisoning them, stop killing our kids. Not only our kids, but our elders, and even everybody else. We're all being affected by this. This is in the air. The kids are the most important, so that's why we want the kids to be, the schools to stop spraying around the schools so that we could stop affecting so many kids, because it's affecting teachers. Teachers are dying, kids are dying. I mean, we don't need poison. We need more healthy, organic growing. And if that's going to be possible, and it can be possible, then let's educate our community and let's make it happen.
Thank you. That's great. And so that's kind of your motivation to join Omar in the hunger.
Yes, I'm glad that Omar said it out loud. I'm more private, I keep everything to myself. So when he said that he was gonna do it, I was like, yes, I've been wanting to do it, So finally somebody came out and said they want to do it. So of course I jumped right on the bus and I joined them, because that was something that I think I had thought about a few times already in the past months, and I thought, gosh, I think that, hunger strike. I remembered about Chavez, and I thought, hunger strike has to work, because meeting with him wasn't working, talking to him wasn't really making any changes. So I thought, well, maybe if we do something more severe, do a hunger strike, so I'm so happy that Omar's doing it. I really am. I'll be documenting everything.
Well, that's excellent.
That's
the way to do it.
I have a schedule.
Do you have like social media?
I am going to start doing it on my Facebook.
Right on.
Providence.
Right on.
And I'm going to have a live every day. I'll be live for at least an hour every day. And I'm keeping a schedule.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I'm keeping a schedule and things to do. So I'm going to be combining my schedule with Omar's, and we're going to be attending a few places. So we'll be able to be active. Yes. Not only is this good for what I'm doing for the community, but it's helping me become
because I gave everything away that I owned in my house. I cleared out my room and my garage, so everything is gone now. So I'm starting brand new. I think that I made space for new things and a new life and a new me, and I'm really excited about that because it's a spiritual journey, and I'm really excited for it. Have in Watsonville because we are going to be starting a hunger strike. So a lot of leaders in Watsonville are here to start their hunger strike and to support us so that they can stop poisoning our kids, especially all the fields that are around the schools in this area. We want them to stop and we want them to go organic. Stop the poisoning and go organic. So all these people are here to support us. We have different groups from all over the Santa Cruz County, Monterey County.
And how did you get involved with the hunger strike?
I'm part of Quota. I got Adam Scout. He's my really good friend, and so he knew people that are into saving the earth, and I asked him to please contact them and connect with them, and then we contacted them, and we made that connection, and we all got together, and then we heard about other groups, so then we connected with them, and then everybody came together at Barrios Unidos with Omar, so it was like a great big family reunion, and now here we are. We're at this point now, so we're making more movement, and it's more noise, so the louder we are, I hope that we're heard, because I think some of these people are
And then, you grew up in the area, ¿verdad?
Yes, I grew up here in California, Watsonville.
In Watsonville, right? And how have pesticides been perceived throughout your time just being in Watsonville?
My grandpa was a bracero, and I know he was stripped naked, and when he would cross the border, they would spray them with some kind of chemical, I'm not sure exactly which one, but he would tell me before he got Alzheimer's, he would start his Alzheimer's episodes, and he would talk about back in the day when they would spray them and all the stuff they would do to them. And he took me back a few times, a lot of stories, and I recorded them, and he talked about how they mistreated them and how they would treat them and how they would work and where they would live, the conditions they were in. And sometimes when he started getting Alzheimer's, he started fading into that era. So it was really heart-wrenching to see my grandpa go through all that, and it affected him so bad that he passed away already. And my other grandpa got dementia. He also worked in the fields. So seeing that, I thought, gosh, if that happened to them, is that going to happen to me? It got me thinking, are we going to get affected? Am I going to have dementia too? Am I going to have Alzheimer's? I don't want my kids to deal with me if that happens, and be in those conditions. So my grandma had breast cancer, and my great grandma didn't, because she was never over here working in the fields. But my grandma did, and I thought, was it because she worked in the fields, And then my aunts and all my mom, all of my family, my mom's family, they all worked in the fields since they were little girls, because child labor back then was okay. But they all work, and now they all have problems and issues with their bones and with walking and with just headaches, and they're sick. All of them are, and it's impossible that everybody can be sick from their knees, but it's possible. And all my aunts are very in a lot of pain all the time, and I can't walk right. My mom can't walk. She's very limited, and it's sad to see that she's so young and that she can't be so mobile and go out with her grandkids and be able to enjoy, life. So that's really, for me, that's sad, because I wish that I'm not like that. I wish I don't get to be like that. I want to be young, I'm like, that's why I'll die before I get wrinkled, because I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my life. I don't want to be suffering and being, somebody else's, I just can't be like that. I need to be able to control myself, be in control of my life. And I think that if we live a healthier life, go organic, we will be able to accomplish that. But if we don't, then we're going to continue on having kids in Stanford all the time. And when I took my daughter to Stanford, the nurses was talking to me, and she told me that Watsonville has the highest number of kids that go to Stanford. And I thought, really? She says, oh yeah, everybody from Watsonville comes here. She was making it like kind of a joke, but I thought, wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. Oh, our list is double the size that from the States, and the one from Watsonville. Are you kidding me? And my head, I was thinking this, but when she was telling me all this, I thought, there's a problem. So we have a problem. This is going to be more of a problem if we don't do something about it. So this is the time. The time is now, and this is the moment. And something needs to happen. We need to live healthier. So we need to start by what we eat, right? And if we can eat what we grow, then we need to grow it right. So grow it right, and go organic. And that's how you do it right. And that's just the bottom line to it. There's nothing else to it. And they can't convince people otherwise. They can spend millions of dollars trying to, convince people or manipulate people or shut people up, but not no more. It's not going to work. The money's not going to work to shut me up, and it's not going to work to manipulate me or try to retaliate against me. They can try. I'm not going to give in. It's not going to work anymore.
And what message do you want to send to the students, about this and, why it's important that we do this now?
Well, it's important that we do this now because look at all the people that have already died. Do we want more on that list? What do you need? Somebody from your family or you to be affected by this? Are you going to wait until you're sick with cancer or you have tumors in your body or your mom or your brother or your cousin or your tia or your neighbor or your dear doggy? Because animals get sick too, and they get tumors and they get cancer, and it's a really sad situation, because animals cost a lot more sometimes to fix than people. And it's very sad that we have to watch so many people die before we do something about something when there's a problem. So let's try to do this now before it's too late for all the other people that are young, like you guys that are young. You need to be doing something about it now, that you're young. So in the future, when you're my age, you don't have any issues. Because you will have, believe me, you will have aches and pains and sore muscles and everything will hurt and the aggressiveness, and your emotions will be out of control. It all affects you in every single aspect you can think of. So do something about it now, please.
And you're participating in the hunger strike. What day are you in and how has it been so far?
This hunger strike. The hunger strike. I'm doing the 30 days hunger strike. 30 days. That's a long time. But I love food, and so I need to do something that was really going to make sense. Yeah, we can give up eating meat. We can give up drinking soda, but I don't drink soda, and I stopped eating meat a while ago, so I thought, I'm just going to stop eating completely. There needs to be a way that we can get the attention of Driscoll and of any other grower that still grows conventional. We need to make sure that people get the message across. This is a serious thing. This is my life on the line. I'm putting my health on the line to make this loud enough so that people understand how severe this is. This is serious stuff. This is poison. It's not okay to kill people and get away with it. Since when is murder okay? Because you hand people money everywhere, left and right. It's not okay to kill people. So let me feed you, but then let me kill you on the side. That's not okay. You need to do things right and be fair. Poisoning people and giving them money on the side is not okay. I don't know who thinks that's okay, but it's not okay with me. And it's not okay with my family and with all the people that I've met and all the people that have joined me and my cause. I am doing this hunger strike because I want schools to stop being poisoned by the pesticides. Pesticide synthetic is not good for human body, okay? You can ask any doctor. Anything that's synthetic is not going to do any good for the human body. So, pesticides are the worst thing for a human body. It's not going to go anywhere good. So let's just go organic. And that's the best thing to do. I'm putting my life on the line so that you know that I'm serious about this.
And what are some final thoughts you would like to share?
I would like to share that I'm really hungry right now. And I'm a very hungry person all the time, obviously, you can tell. And this is going to be an amazing experience. I am very positive about it. I'm very optimistic that things will also change. I think that Mr. Driscoll, Mr. Ryder, Mr. Barry, Mr. Miles, I think you will hear this message and I think you will use it. And I just want to tell you that if you do things right, you will become the hero that you want to be in this community. You have a chance to be a hero. So then do it. Go organic. Try it. Educate all your growers. Don't, instead of not educating them, tell them, the opposite, that it's going to cost too much, that it's going to be too hard, and that the fields need to be out for 3 years before they can regrow on them. No, come on, we can do this. Together, we got your back. you got ours. And if you do this right, you go organic, you will be the hero of the entire state. Okay, so make us proud. Make everybody proud. We want to be on your side. We don't want to be against you. We want to be with you. So come on, we love berries, but just grow them organic. That's what I want you to do.
Lutheran Community Church with Providence, yes. And I know she's with that church.
The Lutherans.
The Lutherans, yeah, the Lutherans. Santa Cruz Bible has mentioned it. There's a couple other faith communities, and then we're trying to still organize because we have an interfaith network that was organized by members of Santa Cruz Bible Church and includes members of Temple Bethel, includes members of a couple of other synagogues in Santa Cruz, as well as Buddhist temples, and all of those people have organized to support immigrants during this time, and so we're hoping to fold this into that organizing effort.
And every weekend they go to the flea market.
Right, and they support your flea market as well.
Every hour there's 2-3 people there volunteering, and they show up by bunches.
Yeah,
they're just great. We love those people. They love being there too.
They do.
They get all kinds of free stuff,
and they get to see Watsonville.
And they get to eat all this Mexican food that a lot of them never ever ate it before, so they really love it. It's a great group.
Yeah. My name is Reverend Julian Porra Center. You might know me as Pastor Julie. I am a pastor with the Presbytery of San Jose and also the executive director of Somos Watsonville. I'm here supporting Omar because I work with this community in Watsonville, and I know farm workers and their children, and I know how hard they work and how much dignity they should have, and I also know that so many have been diagnosed with cancer and have suffered terrible consequences as a result of the absolutely immoral practices of Driscoll's and of Ryder Berry in spraying these pesticides near schools. It feels like such a no-brainer that we shouldn't spray carcinogenic, toxic pesticides where children play, and yet that's what's happening in Watsonville, in predominantly low-income and Latino schools and communities. And that is a clear reason that it is environmental racism, but more than that, I believe that everyone is made in the image of God, and so when you are harming a child of God, you are doing something absolutely terrible. It's a sin. And so I want to stand up on behalf of people of faith, on behalf of Christians, on behalf of people everywhere who believe that children have a right to grow up and live happy and healthy and fulfilling lives. I know I've been just ranting about this for like the past year, where I'm like, can you believe they do this?
Are you doing the hunger strike too?
I'm committing to 3 days, yeah. And we're hoping to get some other members. We have an interfaith group, and I'm trying to get other members of congregations, other churches and temples, people to pray or stand in solidarity or fast in solidarity with Omar. Omar's a big part of our community at Somos Watsonville. We appreciate his gentle spirit and his love for justice. And, you know, fasting has a spiritual origin. It comes from faith leaders. And so we should continue to step into that and use that as not only a justice tool, but a spiritual tool. And so I'm grateful to commit to 3 days fasting in solidarity whenever Omar needs it the most. And we're hoping to continue to spread that message too.
I'm loving the support.
Yeah, he's great.
So even just for a couple days, I had a friend do a hunger strike, and all he had was Gatorade. And, you know, it was for a homeless issue, actually. For stopping the sweeps, actually allowing people to have property.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to go for like 2 weeks, but he only really did like maybe 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I used to fast once a week, just for like 36 hours. It was just a regular part of like my spiritual practice to be aware of how little we actually need and how much we consume as individuals. And I think it's really powerful when we talk about agricultural workers, and they literally grow the food that we eat. And so what better way to show, no, I don't want to eat if it's harvested unethically. I don't want to eat if it, you know, comes at the cost of children's health. So I think it's a really powerful tool and a statement that hopefully we can continue to spread, and maybe other people will want to fast and pray or stand in solidarity with Omar and with this movement and all of the people who have been organizing around it.
That's not only but people across the world. Our community is being bombarded. This is the fumigant season. My wife has received over 60 notices locally around Watsonville of fumigant or insecticide.
Wow. Now, in your experience working on the fields for so long, did you ever feel the impacts to being exposed to these pesticides?
Well, you know, I think I might have gotten lucky. There's a gene marker called PON-1 that is, it's a marker for some resistance to pesticides. Maybe I got genetically lucky, but I was picking apples several decades ago with a friend named Shiloh, and the apple orchard had been sprayed with glutathione, organophosphate, and they've been known to be linked to learning disabilities in children. And his arm turned right away, and he started feeling sick. That's when I realized that pesticides can affect different people differently, and that certain people have more vulnerabilities than others. But we need to be cognizant of that, especially the elderly and children are especially vulnerable to pesticides. Children, because of they inhale more pesticides per body weight, disproportionately affected. The elderly, because of vulnerabilities, are medically fragile. So we need to protect the most vulnerable people in our population. And that means everyone. That means we need to get rid of these fumes, especially 1,3-D. It's banned in 40 countries, it should be banned here. Something that's very much overlooked and undervalued is that healthy soil, which is Cesar Chavez said after his 1988 fast against pesticides, it's a sacred thing. We need to honor healthy soil. And healthy soil is climate smart. It actually mitigates climate change. Healthy soil pulls carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere directly, puts it in the ground, and that benefits the environment, as well as the health benefits of healthier food, organic food. Doesn't have pesticides. It's healthier. It's also been found to be more nutrient dense as far as positive nutrients. That same carrot organically may be more nutrient dense than a conventional carrot. Chemically farmed carrot that has pesticide residues in it. Now, going to strawberries, Environmental Working Group has a dirty dozen every year. For the last 10 years or so, the number one up until this year, now it's spinning. Strawberries have been number one in terms of being pesticide laden and the difficulty of washing them off. Because you know, strawberries are really absorbent, they're porous, and you can't just wash off the pesticide. They're absorbed in the berry. And up until this year, Environmental Working Group has found that the number one pesticide-laden fruit or vegetable is strawberries. And we're right here at Driscoll's World Headquarters. We're asking them, 2/3 of the organic berries in the country are shipped out by Driscoll's. They know how to farm organically. We're asking them to do it in their hometown, to honor their hometown people. This is world headquarters. They grow in 20 countries. They're a $3 billion company. They have the resources and know-how. They can do this. And we're asking them to do it in their local hometown where it all started.
If you are part of the hunger strike and if you are going to do a couple days of hunger strike, please come up here and stand with us. Is that everybody? Yes? Okay. Yes, come on up here, Christine. Yes. So this is the community that's going to be going under this hunger strike coming up, starting already. We started yesterday. Some of us will be joining in the middle of the month, but this is some of the people, and there are more other people that are joining us in this hunger strike. So I want to thank everybody for being here and supporting us. I just want to say, you know, we couldn't do this if it wasn't for the love of the community. It takes the community to make a statement. It takes a community to make a difference. So I want to thank the community for coming out and for supporting this movement throughout this journey that we're about to take. It's not going to be an easy journey, but it's a journey that we can make a difference. So I want to thank the community for being here, all the educators, all the young people, all the community organizations that are here, thank you for your support. So I'm going to start off with the statement that we've made for the demands to Driscoll's and Giants. To the owners of Driscoll's, the Ryder family, and California Giant Berry Farms, Bill Monkovich, enough is enough. For too long, you have poisoned our community with toxic pesticides that harm our farm workers, our immigrant, and our indigenous families, our youth, and our Pajaro Valley. You are contaminating our water and our land, our oceans, and the very air we breathe. This must stop now. As a young boy growing up near fields, I acquired acute asthma. Many of my friends have suffered from cancers and other health problems that many of the same chemicals used in the berry fields are known to cause. I and others in the have committed to 30-day hunger strike to demand the end of pesticides near our schools and throughout the community. These abuses have gone on for too long, and our community is sick, tired, and angry. We will not stop until justice is served. We know you have the resources and the capabilities and pesticides to stop the use of pesticides. Use immediately and transition to just a sustainable practice. Our farm workers, the backbone of this country, and the people who feed the world deserve dignity, health, and respect, not exposure to chemicals that shorten their lives and harm their culture and their children. Yeah. We demand immediate change. We demand better treatment of farm workers. We demand protection to Mother Earth. No more killing our community. No more poisoning our future. Si se puede. No más pesticides. We will fight, we will resist, and we will hold you accountable. Thank you.
Esta es una carta dirigida a los dueños de Driscoll's, Familia Ryder y California Giant Berry Farms, Bill Monkovich. Ya basta, durante demasiado tiempo han envenenado a nuestra comunidad con pesticidas tóxicos que dañan a nuestros trabajadores agrícolas, a nuestras familias inmigrantes e indígenas, a nuestra juventud y a todo el Valle del Pájaro. Están contaminando nuestra agua, nuestra tierra, nuestros océanos y el mismo aire que respiramos. Esto debe parar ahora. De niño creciendo cerca de los campos adquirí asma aguda. Muchos de mis amigos han sufrido cánceres y otros problemas de salud que están directamente relacionados con los mismos químicos que ustedes utilizan en sus campos de bayas. Yo y otros estamos comprometidos a una huelga de hambre de 30 días para exigir el fin del uso de pesticidas cerca de nuestras escuelas y toda nuestra comunidad. Estos abusos han continuado por demasiado tiempo y nuestra comunidad está enferma, cansada y enojada. No pararemos para que se haga justicia. Sabemos que tienen los recursos y la capacidad para terminar con el uso de pesticidas de inmediato y hacer la transición hacia prácticas seguras, justas y sostenibles. Nuestros trabajadores agrícolas, la comunidad vertebral del país y la gente alimenta al mundo merecen dignidad, salud y respeto, no estar expuestos a químicos que acortan sus vidas y dañan a nuestros hijos. Exigimos un cambio inmediato, exigimos un mejor trato para los trabajadores agrícolas. Exigimos protección para la madre tierra, no más matar a nuestra comunidad, no más envenenar nuestro futuro. Si se puede, no más pesticidas, lucharemos, resistiremos y lo haremos responsable.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Reverend Julianne Porra Center. I'm a local pastor in this community and I work with Somos Watsonville. And in my tradition, we believe that all people are made in the image of God. And more than that, we believe that it is our call to love our neighbor. It is not love to poison children. It is not love to put profit margins over the care of a community. It is not love to offer something that should be life-giving and instead is toxic. I would ask anyone who works with Driscoll's, Miles Ryder, any of them, to think of what it would be like to counsel someone whose loved one is dying of cancer, whose loved one is dying far too young from cancer because their parents were farm workers. In my community, we serve young people, primarily whose parents work in the fields. They work hard and they just want to give their kids a better life. And oftentimes they don't even know that the schools that they are sending their children to, that the communities that they live in are being poisoned, that in fact they might contract a life-threatening illness that could change everything. This needs to stop now. We need to take a loving stance. We need to think from our hearts, and we need to stop using the excuse of profit to allow environmental racism to continue, and to, more than anything, allow the disrespect of the dignity of human beings to continue. We need to transition to organic, especially near schools where young people are being critically injured at a critical time in their life. And so we invite any of you to continue to stand up in solidarity with Omar, with this movement, and also with the history of people who have fought for this movement before. Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta. We insist that you be on the right side of history and that you stop giving kids cancer.
My name is Providencia, and I would like to give Mr. Miles Ryder an opportunity to be that hero that he so much wants to be, and really do things right, and go organic, do it right, help your ranchers so that they know how to grow organic, help them so that they can learn and they can get educated, and that everybody knows what side they're on. So are you going to be on what side? You need to choose a side. Okay, thank you very much. What side do you want to be on? You know, you have to choose a side. So you go organic, you become the hero. Believe me, we will have your back if you have ours. So if you go organic, believe me, we will praise you, okay? Just like the hero that you want to be, but do it right. Don't give us money and then poison us from behind. Go organic.
Hello, my name is Alexandra, and I'm a local activist and artist, and I'm very honored to be here. I learned from Batya that this fast is happening, and it was just a godsend in a sense, because I do fast every year for 2 weeks on water. And for me, it was always a personal inner journey of tuning into the deepest self. However, I so welcome and appreciate the opportunity to fast also on behalf of this community, because this is going to make the experience what this experience really needs to be about, which for me is the healing of the greatest wound that we are all suffering from, which is the wound of separation. And now I want to speak on behalf of fasting, because it's kind of scary and frightening, and it was like this for me when I did it the first time. But I'll tell you that during the fast, it does get dark, it does get weird and strange, but soon the light dawns. It becomes the air becomes easier to breathe. One becomes more and more sensitive and tuned into the web of life. And lo and behold, it becomes to be an experience that we are a part of the web of life, that we are all connected, and one gets to feel it when one fasts. So I highly recommend it. And it's not so bad, it's not scary. After like 9 days, you're ready to, you don't need to eat at all.
Hi everybody, my name is Batya Kagan. I am part of the Jewish community as well, and hopefully you'll be hearing from some of my spiritual leaders. But I am here because I was in the beginning starting Cora, the campaign for organic and regenerative agriculture, who started this round of the campaign. It's been going on for a long time before that. Long time before that. But I've been privileged to be here, and I really want this to be a success for the kids, for the farm workers, bless all of them that they get to live a healthy life instead of a life where they are not treated with respect. And a blessing to our land where it can regenerate and become healthy for everybody. So thank you for being here.
My name is Pam Sexton, and I'm here inspired. Oh, I'm inspired. I'm a teacher. I teach at the adult school, and many of my students work in the fields. My students' children go to the schools. My children have gone to these schools. This is an issue that since I moved to the Pajaro Valley in 1997, like this is an issue that I learned about then, and it pains me that we're still talking about the same problem. We need change now. I feel like I should disclose I'm not going to do the 30 days, but I'm going to do a portion. And I just really I'm going to fast as long as I can because this is a racial justice issue. This is an issue that everyone in the community should be outraged at and standing up and doing everything we can.
My name is Christine, and I am doing a shorter fast as well. I want to disclose that, and there's an open invitation to everyone to join in this, to join and to fast for however long you can or are willing to do. And I wanted to say, I guess, just a few things, which is, there's a filmmaker, John Silver, who's local to this area, and in 1981, he did a film about a hunger strike at UC Santa Cruz for ethnic studies. And in that film, there's a student who speaks about feeling hesitation about doing a hunger strike because he says, why would we do to ourselves what imperialism does around the world? That's happening right now. We can see enforced regimes of starvation in Gaza. We can see it around the world as a result of extraordinarily violent policy. But part of the reason why we do this is to make visible a kind of everyday invisible violence that is inflicted on the people of Watsonville. And as people have been speaking about, there's a long history of environmental racism, where the life chances of the people who are essential workers, the children of essential workers who provide the food for this country and this world, are treated as disposable. When I was in high school, my sister, she got a job through a temp agency, and she was working at an oncology center. This is in Southern California. And she took notes. Her job was to take notes. She came back home one day and she said, do you know what group has the highest rate of childhood cancer? The kids of migrant farm workers. That is an everyday, all too often invisibilized form of structural violence that in choosing to fast for whatever duration we're doing, we are trying to raise to visibility. At the PVUSD school board meetings, some of you have gone there and you'll have noticed that there's someone who comes out on a regular basis, Marilyn Garrett. She was a school teacher for a couple of decades in Watsonville. Her hands shake, her voice has a tremor, and she attributes this to the use of pesticides in fields adjacent to the school where she taught. This is common knowledge to all of us, that there is this kind of racism, and anecdotally we know people who are impacted by cancer, but there needs to be a kind of spark that lights the flame of the movement. And I'm just so moved to be part of this with my comrade and my brother, Omar. And thank you for being that spark.
Hi, I'm Rabbi Howie Schneider. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you, Omar. I have to admit, I used to think that this problem was solved years ago. I thought the legislature of California and the governor of California passed laws to prevent this from happening again. So I was so surprised. I felt like I really needed to come out and do something. And I did a little research. I found out, according to the National Cancer Institute, the pediatric cancer rate for children in Santa Cruz County is the second highest in the entire state, 38% higher than the California average. Dr. Valerie Bengal, family medicine physician in Salinas, writes, in the case of pesticides, the evidence of harm has been substantiated over the course of decades of research. Despite this, private industry, and you know the companies have been named, private industry and government agencies have not implemented sufficient protections of workers and the public, especially our school children, who are regularly exposed to toxic pesticides just while going to classes. Studies show the heaviest use of pesticides is in majority Latinx communities right here, and exposes predominantly Latinx workers as well as their children. These communities, she called, are sacrifice zones. So why am I here as a rabbi? From the book of Leviticus, we learn a concept called pikuach nefesh, saving a life. This is a paramount rule in Jewish law, which can override virtually any other commandments we have. Any health risk that endangers human life, such as exposure to a lethal poison, is an absolute priority for ourselves and our neighbors.
Yeah.
The second commandment, Shmirat Haguf, guarding the body. It's derived from the book of Deuteronomy. Guard your body, guard your soul very carefully. Jewish law regards the human body as a divine vessel, and a person is obligated to protect their own bodies and others from harm. This extends to avoiding anything that could damage one's body, including environmental factors such as pesticides. And then again from the book of Leviticus, Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. Do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. It is incumbent upon us, upon all of us, to speak out when harm is being done to any of us. And finally, I want to quote something from the prophet Isaiah. Is this not the kind of fasting I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe them, and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood? Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and God will say, Hineni, here I am, for all of us.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lori Klein. I also am a rabbi, and I'm an interfaith hospital chaplain. And I want to speak to you today as somebody who's been a hospital chaplain for 20 years. I have helped take care of far too many farm workers who are in the hospital with cancer. And a number of them have had leukemia because, one could say, well, people get cancer. People get cancer. Leukemia is supposed to be a relatively rare cancer, and the main risk factor is supposed to be old age. So why have I consistently seen over the years farm workers in their 40s or maybe their 50s who already have leukemia, some of whom have young children. And some of them will die of the leukemia and some of them will survive it, but only after an incredibly rigorous treatment. And some of them will die because of that rigorous treatment. We know how to grow food without poison. Why does Driscoll continue to choose to use poison on our food that is killing people? It's time for that to stop.
Hi, my name is Nat. I'm a community member. And I'm a friend of Omar's as part of the group Pajaro Valley for Ethnic Studies and Justice. I'm here because we fight for educational justice, and this is a matter of injustice. And I just want to talk about, all these folks who are bravely embarking on this hunger strike, but what can the rest of us do? And so that's why we have, if you pick up some of those those flyers, we are starting a call to boycott Driscoll's, and this is something that anyone can do because Driscoll's, they ship their berries from here, where they give children cancer, to all across the world, and in every market, some people can stand in solidarity with Omar and with the strikers here, pledge to boycott. There's a form, and share it with people so that they know the cost of the berries that they might buy for their children, not knowing that it gives other children cancer. So yeah, that's just what I have to say. Everyone can play a part in this, and I hope you do. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody that spoke. I just want to educate everybody. There's a website that everybody can sign on to. It's called Spray Days. You could go onto this website, Spray Days, and you can put up to 10 different addresses. When you punch in those addresses, what it will do is it'll give you a notification every time a pesticide is being sprayed in your area. I sprayed in Ohlone School, and in just 1 month, I've gotten over 50 notifications for every time that they sprayed pesticides. It will tell you the chemical that's being sprayed, the pesticide, the time, and it'll give you a radius of how close it is to the area that you punch in. So I urge everybody to please look into Spray Days, sign up for it, and we've got one more speaker.
I'm Woody Rehanick. I was a farm worker in Washington State for 18 years, mostly in conventional chemical apple orchards. Then I was also, as it happened, a special ed teacher in Pajaro Valley Unified School District for 18 years. I just wanted to share with you some of a little snapshot of 2022 in our school district, according to a new map called California People and Pesticides Explorer, which showed you how many pesticides were applied in every school district into the state of California from 2017 to 2022. Now, in 2022, in Pajaro Valley Unified School District, 394,000 pounds of the toxic air contaminant and carcinogen 1,3-D, 1,3-dichloropropene, or also known as T-lone, were applied. This is a carcinogen that is banned in 40 countries. And if you look at this map, you'll see this carcinogen is being applied adjacent to our schools. In the years I've been studying this, in the 8 years since I've retired, I cannot wrap my head around the proximity of a carcinogen that's banned in 40 countries being applied right here by our schools. It's often applied with another fumigant called chloropicrin, which is actually in the tear gas family. It's used to fumigate houses, and 1 million pounds of chloropicrin, toxic air contaminant, were applied that same year, 2022, just in our school district. So from 2017 to 2022, 10 million pounds of pesticides were applied in our school district. This has got to change now. Thank you very much.
Nane, and then Gabriel. Thank you.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
I want to speak in a couple of hats here. One is my father, my uncle Juan, and my cousin Henry Alejandres. They all used to work in the field in the Fresno County, and all of them got cancer. They used to spray the grapes in the daytime, and they'd go in at nighttime with machines at that time. And all of them died related to the same cancer. So my father was a farm worker. He worked all his life with all his family and stuff. He was a provider, but he died at a young age. I'm older than he was now when he passed, and so was my cousin. But I also want to that as a Vietnam veteran, we were sprayed with Agent Orange in Vietnam, and a lot of us came back not knowing what had happened to us. Not only the war and what war means, but these chemicals that were sprayed upon us, that even today, there's so many veterans that are suffering, so many veterans that I know, friends of mine that have died, friends of mine that are in prison as Vietnam veterans, still in prison in Soledad Prison, where I volunteer teach there, and dealing with Agent Orange in an incarceration environment is very, very painful. But this right here, and everyone that's fasting, I give my heart, because I am not a faster. I cannot fast. So we all got to play different roles. I will support to the end, but we got to look at Wounded Knee, his picture right here. The American Indian Movement, they fasted for many years for indigenous rights. My teacher, my leader, Henry Dominguez, 3 times he fasted, right along with Cesar Chavez. He fasted for indigenous rights. He also fasted like 30 days, the last time 30 days, to stop the violence in the barrios. Because our young people, not only do we get affected by pesticides, but the violence has happened upon our communities. And he fasted. And it was hard, because I had to go and tell him that he had to stop the fast. Not that he had to, but I was talking to him that he was going to die. After 30 days, 31 days, he was very sick, but I know the commitment that Cesar did on fasting. I'm a great believer in fasting. I saw Duncan Murphy, another veteran, that fasted in the steps of the Capitol for stopping the arms going to El Salvador and Nicaragua. I've been part of that movement. So again, this movement right here is like somebody was saying, it's a journey. It's a long-term journey, and some of us have been in that journey for a long time, and we think that it's not effective. It is effective. They are listening. They got cameras. They're going to take everything into consideration. So what is the dollar amount that they're going to lose or make? Yep. Like my sister said, if you do it right, we support you. If you don't do it right, we'll be here again. So again, fasting is, like my sister here said, it's a spiritual movement. So Omar and everybody else, brother, keep it in your heart, and blessings to all of you, all my relations, hope, all my relations.
Thank you. Gabe.
Wait, how do I?
Mateo, hola a todos. My name is Gabriel Medina, and I am the board trustee that represents Hall Elementary, Ohlone, and Pajaro Middle School, one of the biggest communities that are impacted by pesticides. When it rains, they get carried into our lakes and our water system. We're seeing the impacts of it in our students with high amount of ADHD and ADD, not able to read quick enough or not able to attain information like we once did. These impacts go on for decades. My abuelita told me when she would be sprayed directly while she was picking the crops. My mom had to suffer the impact of that, and she still does to this day. She has minor strokes, making it hard for her to leave the house at times because of the impacts that pesticides had on her. And I also have to worry about me and my health, and will that happen to me? Will it happen to future students that are in our community surrounded by fields? And I also want to bring up my cousin, or my nephew Adonis, who just made it to his 4th birthday after beating childhood cancer in our area. No child should have to sit and get chemotherapy while watching others play and have a good time and live normal lives. This is what pesticides do to us. They impact us physically, mentally, and it doesn't always show up as cancer. It shows up as silence, as neurodivergence, as ways that we don't, as kids, know how to communicate what's going on with us. That is why we need to demand proper screening of our students in our schools to make sure that we're detecting these things early on and giving our students the proper resources that they need in order to succeed in education and be those leaders that are coming to these events and standing up for what's right and challenging corporations that see us as disposable units in order for them to make profits. If other countries and nations have banned these pesticides, why are we not doing the same, and why are we not holding these corporations accountable?
That's right, that's right.
Why do they go after our community? Because guess what? The immigrant community has always stood silent because we don't have as many rights as others do in this country. We're seeing it right now with the heavy presence of ICE throughout California and across this nation, deporting our people, separating kids who are impacted by childhood cancer, not being able to see them. So this should be our line in the sand now, everybody. It has gone on too long, and we need to stand united. And I want to thank Omar for doing this, because it takes strength, and you're putting your body on the line, because so many have already been put on the line by these corporations. So thank you. Thank you to Cora, thank you to SAS, and thank you for everybody for being here today. And remember that when you leave here, be an advocate against pesticides and hold corporations accountable. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It is an honor to be here at Chichimeca, Otomí, Nahua, Trujillo, with Papa Bruce Gali. We are representing American Indian movement. Papa Wounded Knee is here too. So I'm going to let, as an elder, Papa Bruce to give a couple words.
I'm from Northern California, Pitt River and Filipino. So my mom was Pitt River and my dad was Filipino, so they say Indopino, like that. But they met in the fields. They met in the strawberry fields in Northern California, and they also had 6 sons, no sisters, and we all worked in the fields like that after my mom had passed, like that. And even when we were in the cucumbers, working in the cucumber fields out here in Pleasanton like that, they would come in the morning with the aircrafts and fly over us and be spraying like that. I'm lucky 75 years old right now, like that. And I remember a long time ago, like that, with Cesar Chavez and Larry Eaglong right here, like that. And my brother Isidro, he walked every step like that for the same rights that we're here right here today, And you're talking about fasting, huh? Cesar Chavez fast too, So we have to look at that. We have to honor that as indigenous people. I just come off a conference in Northern California up in the Elam Indian Reservation in Lake County, like that, with the International Treaty Council. And we were up there for a couple of days like that, and they were talking about the mercury in Lake County, like that. And they can't even eat the fish there. And even the indigenous people there, the Pomo tribe, like that, can't even eat the fish. The thing is that they're poisoning our water. They're poisoning our water, and the International Treaty Council made an amendment to go all over the world for indigenous people. We're talking about the condor and eagle. And I'm here to stand here today and say the condor and the eagle and condor. The north and the south. And the thing is, they're poisoning the water. I talked about the pesticides in the valley. It's not only in the valley, it's everywhere now. We're all drinking that. And if you go Interstate 5 at these rest areas, and you wonder why those rest areas are closed, because they're contaminated. People can't drink the water. Their dogs can't even drink the water. Huh? You go up Interstate 5 and look at these rest areas. Why? Why? I'm honored and blessed like that. You know, we prayed all over the flags like that. You know, to show our solidarity, unification. And you always have to remember, this is not only to stand here and talk about me, myself, or I. It's about all of us and all our children. The 7th generation. We have to give honor and bless whoever comes here to fast. And we ask to come. You know, we ask to come like that. You know, in a good way. In an honorable way. A hope.
Oh, Papa. Just like Papa Wounded used to say, who's going to do the work? Who is going to do the job? Who's going to pick up?
What they're going to do when they come for you?
Who's going to do the job? Who's going to pick up the fruit? Who's going to put it on your table? Wake up, nation. These are the sacred people. Huh? These are the sacred human bees. Like the bees. Without bees, we don't have fruit. Without farm workers, we don't have food either. That's what Papa Wunda used to say. And if we don't support this movement, what you gonna do when they come for you in the middle of the night? It's time to get together. That's why we are here. We, at this point, just like Papa Bruce says, there's no me, myself, or I. I am the strikers. I am this community. I lost my name. This is my name. The strikers. Omar. I am Omar. So let's take that deep into our hearts. Every morning, do your prayers. If you're not going to be here, do your prayers. Okay? Oh, Matakiase. Oh.
Thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you for supporting this movement. We have some signatures. We're collecting signatures. If you want to support this movement, please come up here and fill out one of these signatures. Please, if you have any questions about anything that was said here, please come up here and ask questions. We are here to answer questions.
I just wanted to say that, you know, Omar is saying that this is only possible because of the community. And even though this is not to single out Omar as an individual, we all know that he's doing this for everyone. And so I'm just asking you, if you have the capacity to, there's a QR code here, and you can make a donation to Omar just so that he can, he's going to be fasting. He's going to be fasting the longest of all of us. But if you are willing to make a donation to make sure that he has a place to stay at night, all of that, you know, please do make a donation here. Just want to say that. Thank you.
¡Sí se puede! ¡Sí se puede! ¡Que viva la raza! ¡Que viva la raza! ¡Que viva el inmigrante! ¡Que viva! ¡Que viva la juventud! ¡Que viva! ¡Sí se puede! Thank you everybody for showing up.
Ready and 3, 2, 1.
Campesinos están luchando, los rancheros se lloren y lloren, de huelga ya están
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Omar.